So I've been a fan of Sony for a long time, the PlayStation 1 being my first console. And there honestly hasn't been a PlayStation console that I did not like, whether it was the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2 being my favorite console of all time, the PlayStation 3, PS4, and hell, I even love my PlayStation 5. But as most of you know, Sony announced today that they are releasing a new console. Why? Who fucking knows? The PlayStation 5 Pro is coming to store shelves here in November. Yes, 2 months away. And I have to tell you, I'm pretty fucking irritated. There's a number of reasons why this is wrong, this is fucked up, and this shouldn't be happening in the first place. But before we dive into the issues I have with the PlayStation 5 Pro, let's talk about what this thing actually offers. So for a minimal fee of $699, yes, $700 fucking dollars for a home console, about $750 plus tax. And if you live in Canada, well, you're really fucked because it's about $1,000. You get no disc drive. So yes, as it comes, it is a digital-only console, but hey, if you really want to put your discs in the console, you can buy the disc drive that was made for the Slim separately. But for that $700, supposedly we're getting about 45% in graphical performance enhancements, so a better graphics card, we're going to be getting better ray tracing, and we're going to be getting something called, I don't know, some fucking AI, artificial intelligence, fucking graphics enhancer, PSSR. Couldn't care less what the acronym actually stands for, but what I will tell you is, who gives a shit? You know why I don't give a shit, Sony? Because you don't have any fucking games on the console that would make it a justifiable purchase. What, are we going to go out and spend $700 on a Pro model to play games that have already been out for a couple of years? Are we really going to go back out and spend another $700 on a console just to replay God of War Ragnarok with slightly better graphics and maybe an improved frame rate? It's laughable. And I'm honestly getting so sick and tired of these video game companies who are literally focused on all the wrong things. Not just Sony, but Microsoft as well. They have lost the point. They have missed the assignment. We don't give a shit about more powerful hardware. You know what we care about as gamers? Let me let you in on a little secret. The fucking games. The games, Sony. Like, for real. And that's not to take away from the third-party developers, because a lot of them have been fucking killing it, like Capcom, Square Enix, there's a lot. But we live in this day and age where the companies care obviously more about profits than actually the consumer, and it drives me absolutely nuts, because at some point down the line from when I was growing up, these companies lost sight of what really matters. I remember growing up playing the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, the 3, the 4, all of them. And I just remember how many amazing games were on those consoles. The companies back then, man, they used to take risks. They used to come up with these really cool, unique ideas. And when you got a game, when you bought a game and you picked it up off the shelf, whether it was at KB Toys or Target or Toys R Us or wherever you were at, and you brought it home and you played it, it was a full, complete game. Not none of this, well, let's release these broken games. Let's release these generic, vanilla, uninspired, copy and paste cookie cutter games like, sorry, Sony, fucking Concord, however the fuck you say it. I guess it really doesn't matter because the game doesn't exist anymore anyway. I honestly don't know why we're getting a PlayStation 5 Pro. I have no idea, because when they showed the side-by-side comparison, the differences were minuscule. Like, they were fine, but they weren't like $700 worth of improvements. Like, come on, man. $700 for a console? I mean, you haven't seen a console that expensive since, like, I guess the PS3, and that was $599. It was $600, and people lost their fucking mind back then when they saw that price tag. And I guess maybe like the Neo Geo back in the 90s, and that console was obscenely expensive, especially if you were to account for inflation and what it would be today. Anyway, at least the Neo Geo had a fucking like cartridge slot so you could actually, you know, have physical media on the motherfucker. I'm ranting and I'm raving, but it's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to me that these companies, including Microsoft, who is already talking about jumping into the 10th generation, with another console, you guys don't have any fucking games, dude. Like, that's the problem I have with these companies, is that they think that putting out the most powerful fucking piece of hardware on the market is going to somehow make them better and make more people want to buy their shit. Well, let me tell you something. Let me let you in on a little fucking secret. There's a little company in Japan called Nintendo, and they've been rocking with the same fucking console for 8 years. The motherfucker was underpowered when it was released 8 years ago, and somehow they have managed to come out with some of the greatest games in video game history and are still releasing badass games to this day. I mean, for fuck's sake, guys, this month we're getting a new Zelda game when we just got Tears of the Kingdom less than a year ago. I guess it was over a year ago. We're getting a new Metroid Prime game. We're getting a new Mario game. Donkey Kong is coming back to the Switch. Like, literally 8 years in, and they have still been able to deliver every single year, and that is why they have sold so many consoles. And Xbox and PlayStation have lost the fucking point. You know what sells consoles? The games. The games that people want to play. People don't want to play uninspired, generic, vanilla, cookie-cutter hero shooters anymore. They just don't. The games that have already controlled that market are going to control that market. Whether you're talking about games like, I don't know, Overwatch or Valorant or Apex, like, those games are great games that have already sealed up that market. You have games like Fortnite that have sealed up that market. You're not going to get people to jump ship to not only pay $40 for Concord when every other hero shooter is fucking free and come over and play your game. You literally wasted $200 million on this game, Sony, and then right after this huge fuck up, you decide, hey, let's release the most expensive console we've ever released with no disk drive, and yeah, it's slightly more powerful, and we don't have any fucking games for it, but you know, GTA 6 is coming in 2 years. You better buy your console now. It's a joke, man. It really is a joke. Like, I don't understand the purpose of getting a pro console, like, at this point. Because it's like, if you're going to spend $700 on something like that, you might as well save a little bit more money and just invest in a gaming PC at this point. Like, honestly, it's really come to that point. Like, I've heard of like PC enthusiasts, right? Because I used to be one. I was that motherfucker who'd go to the store and I would buy a new graphics card every year, even if I didn't need one, because that was my passion and that was my hobby and I liked doing it. But then at the same time, I've never heard of like a console enthusiast, right? Where it's like, well, I have a PS5, but that's not good enough, so I need to buy a PS5 Pro for way more money, and it absolutely is not worth the purchase because the performance upgrade that you get is just not justifiable, in my opinion. Now, I may be old, right? And I may be old-fashioned when it comes to video games. Like, I love my physical media. I want my disc drive, and you're probably thinking, well, Rec, you can go buy one. For that price point, it should come with it. Let me know down in the comments if I'm crazy for thinking that, but god damn, dude, like, it is $700 plus tax for a video game console. Like, that's really expensive, you guys. Like, for a home console, that's a lot of money. And for it to not have a disc drive, and get this is the fucking cherry on top. This is the part that irritates me more than anything. And let me know if you guys caught this shit. So not only do you not get a disc drive, but you don't even get the damn vertical stand that's in the picture. It was like a little disclaimer down at the bottom of the screen that said, yeah, vertical stand's not included. We know that you're, fucking paying $700 for this thing, but we're not going to include the stand on this one. Sorry, guys. Like, it's a joke. Like, you're kidding me, right? Like, we're not even going to get the stand with it? Then why even show it in the fucking picture, right? Like, this is absolutely insane. I don't know who this console is for. I really don't. Except for maybe people that have never owned a PS5 and they were teetering on the fence, and maybe this is what's going to push them over the edge to buy one. But if you already own a PS5, seriously, like, are you going to get one of these? Because I'm sure as fuck not. I am literally waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the hell it's called. This console literally just feels like a cash grab. It really does. Like, $700 for a new PS5 with no games. Like, yeah, Sony, you've made good games, don't get me wrong. Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Ratchet and Clank or Rift Apart. Like, great games, don't get me wrong. I mean, fantastic. But they're old now at this point. They've been out. Like, we can play them on our PS5s just fine. And I bet you money they're coming to PC very soon, because the first games in those franchises came to PC. So honestly, I don't know what the people at Sony are thinking when they're like coming up with these harebrained ideas, but dude, just come out with good games. Like, do you remember the era of like the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 when these developers actually took risks? And I know what you're thinking. It's like, dude, games were way cheaper back then to produce. It was, way easier for them to take these risks because if they flopped, it wasn't as big of a deal as if they flop now. Well, look at what they did now. They worked on Concord for like 8 fucking years, spent $200 million and ripped the fucker off the fucking online store in like a week. And they're pulling the physical games right off the shelf and giving everybody a refund. So why don't we go back to the old days where we actually took some risks and we got some really amazing franchises out of it? I mean, Sony, man, like you used to be on top of the world when it came to exclusives. And it's like, I feel like we're not getting enough bang for our buck. And now you want us to go out and buy this new console for what? For what? Like, honestly, like if anything, the Nintendo Switch has proven that you can literally have outdated hardware as long as you make quality games that people actually want to play and put a bunch of awesome titles on your hardware, on your platform, people will come and play them. I love my Nintendo Switch. It's an awesome console. I love my PS5. I think I'm just irritated at the fact that like all these game companies are just missing the point and they're not listening to us and they're coming out with a bunch of garbage and then wondering why shit just doesn't stick. And it's frustrating. And I know it's got to be frustrating for you guys. I mean, who wants to get an announcement for a new PlayStation console when you ain't got shit for games? I think Sony kind of lost me when they came out and they were like, who wants to play our old games when you could play the new games? It's like, me, motherfucker. I still have my PlayStation 1 through 4 still hooked up in my game room. You know why? Because you made great games, right? Like Sony was such a big part of so many gamers' like childhoods, right? Like I just remember playing my PlayStation 1 when I was a kid and playing the original Resident Evils and Silent Hill and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon and Legend of Dragoon and all of these games that just meant something to us. Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid. Like, man, where are those fucking games that just blow you away? The PlayStation 2 comes out and you had amazing games like Final Fantasy X, or you had games like Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas, fucking, you know what I mean? Like just these monumental games that just have stuck with us over the years. And it's just like, man, it's just so frustrating to me that I feel like companies, not just Sony, are just really letting us down, right? Not every company. I think Capcom is killing it. I think Square Enix is doing a pretty good job. But man, there's been a lot of garbage ass shit that's come out, and I know you guys feel the same way. We're tired of incomplete games. We're tired of broken games. We're tired of day one, 3-hour fucking 2,000 gig patches. We're tired of DLC that we have to pay for. We're tired of microtransactions and gambling in video games. Like, we're just tired of it. Like, god damn, dude. Nobody wants another hero shooter. We want something like Baldur's Gate 3, right? We want something that is going to amaze us and remind us why we love being gamers. It's absolutely frustrating. Sony, what the fuck are you thinking? Like $700 for a console? You've lost your fucking mind. I won't be buying one. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to partake in this madness or if you're just going to be rocking with your original PS5. And let me know if you're going to be buying the Nintendo Switch 2 over the PS5 Pro, because I know I am. And if you like the video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. I'm usually not this fucking animated, but I'm kind of annoyed. I normally don't get annoyed at shit. I haven't had a DK Oldie style video in a long time, where I shit on something. But I'm very passionate about it, and I give a fuck about video games, and I feel like they don't give a fuck about us, or at least that's how they're making us feel. So if you like modern gaming or retro gaming, I'm a huge retro collector, drop me a follow, man. Drop a subscription and like the video. Let me know what you guys think about this whole PlayStation 5 Pro shit down in the comments. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, fuck you, Sony.